Alright guys, we are back for chapter 10 of George's Secret Key to the Universe. I have my little panda here to read with me this time. It's a good thing that my daughters have lots of stuffed animals, so I get to borrow them for the books. Chapter 10. Out in the street, Ringo and his friends were still standing there as though stuck to the pavement by some invisible force. "What was that?" asked a small skinny boy who went by the name of Whippet. "Dunno," said the huge boy they called Tank, scratching his head. "Well, I wasn't scared," said Ringo defiantly. "Neither was I," chorused all the others quickly. "I was just going to have a word with that weirdo in the spacesuit when it got frightened and ran away." Yeah, his friends all agreed quickly. "Course you were, Ringo, course you were." "So, I think," Ringo went on, "you," he pointed at the newest member of the gang, "should ring the doorbell." "Me?" the boy gulped. "You said you weren't scared," said Ringo. "I'm not," he squeaked. "Then you can ring the bell, can't you?" "Why can't you do it?" asked the new boy. "Because I asked you first. Go on," Ringo glared at the boy. Do you want to be part of this gang?" "Yes," said the boy, wondering which was worse, meeting a spaceman and suffering the curse of alien life, or making Ringo angry. He settled for the spaceman. At least he wouldn't have to see him every day at school. He edged toward Eric's front door uneasily. "Then ring the bell, Zit," said Ringo, "or you'll be an ex-member of this gang." "Okay," muttered Zit, who didn't like his special new gang name much either. The others all took a few steps backward. The new boy's finger hovered over the bell. "Ringo," said one of the others suddenly, "what are we going to do if he opens the door?" "What are we going to do if he opens the door?" Ringo echoed the question while he tried to think of an answer. He looked up at the sky as though searching for an idea. "We're gonna..." Even Ringo wasn't being his usual confident, thuggish self. But before he could come up with an answer, he let out a shout of pain. "Ah!" he yelped as a hand grabbed him by the ear and twisted it very hard. "What," said a stern voice, "are you boys doing hanging around in the street?" It was Dr. Reaper. Ringo and George's class teacher from school. He had Ringo firmly by the ear and clearly didn't intend to let go. The boys were very startled to see a teacher outside the school grounds. They never imagined that teachers actually had other lives to lead or had anywhere to go but their classrooms. "We're not doing nothing," squealed Ringo. "I think you mean we are not doing anything," corrected Dr. Reaper in a teacherly voice, "which in any case isn't true. You are obviously doing something, and if I find out that something has to do with bullying smaller children, like, for example, George..." Dr. Reaper stared very hard at all the boys to see if any of them flinched at the mention of George's name. "No, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir," said Ringo, who feared his ear might come off in the teacher's hand. "We never touched him. We were running after him because he left his lunchbox behind at school," said Whippet very quickly, "and we wanted to give it back to him before he got home," added Zit, the new boy. They're talking to Dr. Reaper there. "And did you succeed?" said Dr. Reaper with a nasty smile, letting go of Ringo's ear just a little bit. "We were just about to hand it over," improvised Ringo, "when he went into that house." He pointed at Eric's front door. "So we were ringing the bell to give it to him." Dr. Reaper let go of Ringo's ear so suddenly that Ringo fell to the ground. "He went in there?" Dr. Reaper questioned them sharply as Ringo staggered to his feet again. "Yeah," they all nodded in unison. "Why don't you boys," said Dr. Reaper slowly. "Let me have George's lunchbox, and I'll hand it back to him." He fished around in his pocket and brought out a crumpled $10 bill, which he dangled in front of their noses. "Who's got the lunchbox?" questioned Ringo. "Not me," said Whippet immediately. "Not me," mumbled Tank. "It must be you, then," said Ringo, pointing at Zit. "Ringo, I wasn't..." Zit was panicking now. "Very well," said Dr. Reaper, glaring at the four of them. He put the money back in his pocket. "In that case, I think you'd better scram. Do you hear me? Scram!" Once the boys, who didn't need telling twice, were gone, Dr. Reaper stood in the street, smiling to himself. It wasn't a pleasant sight. Checking that no one else was coming or going, he went up to Eric's front window and squinted through it. The curtains were drawn or closed, so he only had a small opening to look through. He couldn't see much, just two strangely shaped, shadowy figures, which seemed to be standing near some kind of doorway inside the house. Interesting, he muttered to himself. Very, very interesting. Suddenly, the temperature in the street dropped dramatically. It means a lot. For a second, it felt as though air from the North Pole were blowing along the street. Where would this air be coming from? Strangely, the bitter wind seemed to be coming from under Eric's front door. But as Dr. Reaper bent down to investigate, it stopped. When he went back to look through the window, the two figures had gone, and there was no inside doorway to be seen. Dr. Reaper nodded to himself. "Ah, the chill of outer space. How I long to feel it," he whispered, rubbing his hands together. "At last, Eric, I found you. I knew you'd come back one day." That's the end of chapter 10. Now, if you noticed in chapter 10, there are a lot of colored pictures, which are really, really cool. So this first one, it says these are Cosmos' picture files. The one on the top, it says, in 1996, passing within 9.4 million miles of the Earth, Hyakutake was one of the brightest comets of the 20th century. Remember, they're looking for a comet, so they're showing us some pictures of them. The second picture says, Halley's Comet is visible from the Earth every 76 years or so. The photo was taken in 1910, and the third picture is Halley's Comet in 1986. So 1910 and 1986 these are all pictures of comets. Although the moon is usually thought of as gray, it actually has color. This image has been enhanced to reveal the subtle hues produced by the different geological features of the moon. So this one on the left is the one that's been changed or enhanced, so you could actually see some of the different features. This far side of the moon can never be seen from Earth. This picture was taken by the Apollo 16 spacecraft in 1972. So this is the back side of the moon, the side you cannot see from Earth. It's very different from the side that we're used to seeing. This next picture, the center of the Milky Way. This cannot be seen with our eyes because there is cosmic dust in front of it, but this picture was taken in infrared light, which allows us to see hundreds of thousands of hidden stars. Within the white dot at the center is a supermassive black hole. Okay, so here's the galaxy right there is what they're talking about. Inside of there is a black hole. Later on in the book, we're going to learn about black holes. Pretty cool picture. The largest and most detailed true color image of Saturn ever produced, and the view of Saturn when seen from the Earth through a telescope. So this is the detailed view of Saturn, and this is the one through a telescope. Titan is the largest moon of Saturn. It is the only known moon in the solar system to have a thick atmosphere. This is an infrared light picture, so that's the top picture. Then Rhea is the second largest moon of Saturn. It doesn't appear to be geologically active, meaning there's nothing happening on it. And Iapetus is the third largest moon of Saturn. The heavily cratered region that dominates this image is known as Cassini Reggio. So these are the three moons that it talks about. Biggest, the second biggest, and the third. Saturn has a lot of moons. Okay, one more. Dione is the fourth largest moon of Saturn. Its surface is mainly composed of water ice. Tethys, the fifth largest moon of Saturn, is also probably composed of water ice. And this last one says it's an ultraviolet green and infrared composite image of Enceladus, the sixth largest moon of Saturn. I might say these words wrong. Its surface temperature is negative 328 degrees, but there may be water underneath the surface. Okay, so fourth, fifth, and sixth largest moon of Saturn. This is the one in infrared. All right, that is the end of chapter 10. See you next time.